Your phone knows you're pregnant before your partner does. It knows you're planning to quit your job before your boss suspects anything. It knows you're having an affair before your spouse finds the evidence. This isn't science fiction. This is Tuesday. Right now, in your pocket or on your desk, sits the most sophisticated surveillance device ever created. Not by accident. Not by coincidence. By design. Every swipe, every tap, every whispered conversation near your phone feeds an invisible machine built to extract, analyze, and monetize your life. The companies that make your phone aren't just selling you technology. They're selling you. And the buyers? They're everywhere. Let me tell you about a man named Joe. Average guy. Works in accounting. Married. 2 kids. In 2019, Joe's life imploded when his wife discovered he was cheating. But here's the twist. She didn't find texts. She didn't see lipstick on his collar. She checked his Google timeline. Every place Joe had been for the past 3 years was documented with terrifying precision. The restaurant where he met his mistress. The hotel where they spent afternoons. Even the parking lot where they kissed goodbye. Google had tracked every movement, time-stamped every location, and stored it all in the cloud. His wife simply logged into his account and watched his infidelity unfold like a GPS-enabled soap opera. Joe isn't unique. None of us are. Because modern phones aren't designed with privacy as a priority. They're designed with extraction as a business model. And it started long before you ever suspected. The year was 2003. Most people were still using flip phones. Nokia ruled the world. Then a small Finnish company called Benefon released something revolutionary. The first phone with built-in GPS. They marketed it as a safety feature. Lost? Your phone could guide you home. Emergency? Rescuers could find you instantly. It seemed benevolent. But GPS was just the beginning. Within 5 years, every smartphone would have GPS. And with it came the ability to track human movement on a scale never before possible in history. Not just where you are now, but where you've been, where you're going, and how long you stay. Patterns, routines, predictability. Everything a surveillance state could dream of, packaged as convenience. Then came 2008. Apple launched the App Store. Suddenly, thousands of developers could create programs that lived on your phone. Games, social networks, productivity tools. Each one free or cheap. Each one asking for permissions, access to your photos, your contacts, your location, your microphone, and you said yes. Everyone did. Because denying permissions meant the app wouldn't work and you wanted it to work. You wanted the convenience. But here's what nobody told you. Those permissions weren't just for the app's functionality. They were keys to a kingdom. Once granted, apps could collect data far beyond what they needed. And they did, relentlessly. By 2012, apps were harvesting so much data that even tech insiders were getting nervous. A security researcher named Ashkan Soltani examined popular apps and discovered something disturbing. A simple digital coupon app was accessing users' locations 5,400 times per day. Not when the app was open. Constantly. In the background. Silently. Why would a coupon app need your location 5,400 times daily? Because every single data point could be sold. Location data brokers were emerging as a billion-dollar industry. Companies you'd never heard of were buying your movements and selling them to retailers, hedge funds, insurance companies, and governments. One company called Safegraph sold location data from 47 million phones to anyone willing to pay. Researchers used Safegraph data to track people visiting abortion clinics, mosques, and protests. They could identify individuals by matching location patterns to home addresses. Anonymous data, they called it. But anonymity is a lie when your movements are unique. In 2013, MIT researchers proved that 95% of people could be identified from just 4 location data points. 4. That's all it takes to unmask you. Where you sleep, where you work, where you go on weekends. You're not anonymous, you're just unlabeled. And the labels are easy to add. But location is just one piece of the surveillance puzzle. Your phone is also listening, literally. In 2018, a doctor named Robert Saunders conducted an experiment. He'd never searched for sailing equipment online, never visited sailing websites, never typed the word sailing into his phone. Then he started talking about sailing near his phone. Conversations with his wife, casual mentions of sailboats and harbors. Within 2 days, his Facebook feed flooded with sailing ads, boat manufacturers, marina rentals, sailing courses. He hadn't searched, hadn't typed, only spoken. His phone had been listening. Facebook denies using microphone data for ad targeting. They've denied it repeatedly, publicly, under oath. But thousands of users report identical experiences. You mention dog food. Dog food ads appear. You discuss vacation destinations. Travel ads flood in. The timing isn't coincidental. It's systematic. Internal documents leaked from Facebook in 2021 revealed discussions about using ambient audio for ad targeting. They claimed the feature was never implemented, but the conversations happened. The capability exists, and users worldwide report the same phenomenon. If it walks like surveillance and quacks like surveillance, maybe we should stop pretending it's a duck. Then there's your keyboard. Every word you type travels through software that can read it. In 2016, researchers discovered that dozens of popular Android keyboards were transmitting everything users type to remote servers: passwords, credit card numbers, private messages, all sent to foreign servers with minimal encryption. One keyboard app had over 40 million downloads. Another had 600 million. Hundreds of millions of people had unknowingly installed keyloggers on their own phones. Google eventually removed the apps, but the damage was done. And here's the question nobody asks: how many keyloggers remain undetected? Your phone sensors tell stories you never intended to share. The accelerometer, designed to detect screen rotation, can identify what you're typing by measuring how your phone tilts as your thumbs move. Researchers achieved 80% accuracy predicting passwords from motion data alone. The gyroscope can determine if you're walking, running, or driving. It can even identify you by your gait. Everyone walks differently, and your phone sensors capture those unique patterns. In trials, researchers identified individuals with 90% accuracy just from how they walked with their phone in their pocket. You can't hide your identity when your body language is a fingerprint. But the most insidious spying happens through something you use every single day. Your apps, not the ones you suspect, the ones you trust. In 2021, researchers analyzed a popular Muslim prayer app called Muslim Pro. It had been downloaded over 98 million times. Users trusted it to provide accurate prayer times, Quran verses, and direction to Mecca, but Muslim Pro was selling user location data to a company called Xmode, which sold it directly to military contractors and the U.S. Department of Defense. The military was tracking Muslims through their prayer app. The app designed to help people practice their faith was being weaponized for surveillance. When the story broke, Muslim Pro claimed ignorance. They said they didn't know where the data was going. But the contract showed otherwise, and Muslim Pro wasn't alone. A pregnancy tracking app called Ovia Health collected intimate data from millions of women. Menstrual cycles, fertility windows, sexual activity, pregnancy symptoms, miscarriages. This deeply personal information was shared with employers who paid for the app as an employee benefit. Companies could see which employees were trying to get pregnant, who was struggling with fertility, and who might take maternity leave soon. Ovia claimed the data was aggregated and anonymized. But employers receive detailed reports broken down by department and demographic. The surveillance was precise enough to affect hiring and promotion decisions. Your most intimate health information weaponized against your career. Then there's the apps you didn't even install. Pre-installed apps called bloatware come standard on most Android phones. These apps are installed by manufacturers and carriers, and many cannot be deleted. In 2020, researchers discovered that pre-installed apps on Android phones were sending data to third parties without user consent. Screen interactions, location, device identifiers, all transmitted to advertising companies and data brokers. You never downloaded these apps, never granted permissions. They were forced onto your device, spying from the moment you turned it on. But perhaps the most terrifying revelation came in 2022 when a data broker called Near Intelligence went bankrupt. During bankruptcy proceedings, documents revealed that Near had collected location data from over 1.6 billion devices worldwide. That's roughly 1 in 5 humans on Earth. The company tracked people's movements, built profiles on their behaviors, and sold access to anyone willing to pay. Governments, hedge funds, retailers, political campaigns, all buying access to humanity's movements like it was a commodity, because to them, it is. And when Near went bankrupt, all that data, every location point from 1.6 billion people, went up for sale to the highest bidder. Your movements, your patterns, your life, auctioned off like furniture. This is why modern phones are designed to spy on you, not because of a conspiracy, because of capitalism. Your data is worth more than the phone itself. The average smartphone user generates data worth approximately $200 per year. Multiply that by 6.8 billion smartphone users globally, and you're looking at a $1.3 trillion industry. That's larger than the GDP of most countries. Your phone isn't a product you bought. It's a surveillance device you rent. And the rent is paid in privacy, collected every second of every day, forever.